DeSanto Propane is 4 generations strong as a trustworthy, family-owned business with unmatched customer service. Go online at DeSantoPropane.com for more info or call toll-free at 1-800-752-4574 today. Since 1937, the difference has been DeSanto Propane.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into Bills Weekly here on FingerLakes1.com. Paul Russo here, as always, joined by Jim Sinicropi and Kyle Evans. As is tradition around here, we talk about something, ends up getting done in pretty short order. James Cook, new deal, signed last week. We'll talk about that. We also got the second preseason game of the season that happened last night on Sunday, and, preseason football, call whatever you might. We will discuss a little bit or whatever takeaways we can take away from a 38-0 loss. So a couple things to get to. But first, thank a couple more of our sponsors, including Cicino's Pizzeria and Restaurant. You can visit Cicino's Pizzeria and Restaurant, their original Waterloo location or all-new renovated location in Geneva. Dine-in, takeout, delivery, catering, and banquets. You can order online at Cicinos.com. Live, laugh, and eat well. It's the Italian way. And Finger Lakes Partners. Get the insurance you need from the people you know. Finger Lakes Partners Insurance, the Finger Lakes Insurance Agency for your home, auto, or business. You get a no-obligation quote today at fingerlakesinsurance.com. All right, guys. So we'll begin with James Cook. New deal, 4-year, $48 million contract extension, $30 million guaranteed, most guaranteed money for running back in the last 5 years. Jim, I want to start with you because you kind of called at least that average annual value.
We were talking last week, right?
Yeah.
So it landed around that $12 million year mark, and I think it's a good deal for Cook and a good deal for the Bills. And now we can go into the season without that hanging over our heads.
Yeah, you kind of called the shot, Jim, a little bit last week with where the money is. But Kyle, you brought up a good point, though. The structure of that annual average is going to be a little bit different compared to most than what we maybe usually see in football every now and then. It's going to be tiered off a little bit. So it kind of helps maybe the Bills a little bit here early on in this window and kind of see what happens with Cook overall at that point.
Yeah, on paper it looks like $12 million a year, but they're kind of like pushing some money to the future where it's only going to average, I think, out to like 10.5 next year. So a lot of different like fancy contract money stuff if you're into that side of the game. But yeah, overall I think it's a pretty good deal for the Bills. I definitely didn't want to give them that $15 million a year. I think it made them happy probably that it was the most guaranteed money up front. Mm-hmm. And now, fortunately, we can just forget about the standoff or hold-in is whatever you would call it and just go play football. And I thought we'd see him last night because they wanted him to play in Game 1 and we didn't see him, so maybe it looks like he won't be playing in preseason.
Yeah, we didn't see anybody last night.
Yeah, I think there was only like one starter.
Yeah,
we'll get more on that that portion of things here in a little bit. To me, I think this also kind of signifies maybe more so than anything else that the Bills really want to get the established core kind of situated here at this point. Obviously, we did talk about it a little bit towards the end of the podcast last week about how, the window for the Bills at this point, depending on how you look at it, right, either we're in the middle of it or potentially closing as Josh Allen now is entering.
I don't think it's closing, but definitely it's in the middle of it. And every year now that we go by and we don't get to the Super Bowl, let alone win one, the pressure mounts and. So, yeah, it's nice to see him shore it up. But it's funny the way football works. If you go back to last year at this time and you told us that he was going to be signing that contract, we would have thought it was crazy. But, of course, he had an incredible year last year. But it was 1 year, really, right? So now the pressure's on Cook to come back and deliver another season like last season.
Yeah, he had back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, but last year is when he had the 16 touchdowns. That tied O.J. Simpson, or did it break his record? Or no, it matched his record. So yeah, that's why he got the money that he wanted and why he was holding out so long, because he thought he could get that $15 million a year. I think if the Bills for some reason extended him way earlier, like last year at this time, I'm thinking he only gets like $9 million, maybe 8.
Yeah,
9?
definitely, and
Because he only had one 1,000-yard season.
right, and with the amount of games that they play nowadays, there's a lot of 1,000-yard rushers out there. And there's a general consensus in the NFL that a lot of running backs are plug and play. If you can get somebody, you can. It's more like, oh, sure, if you can take anybody off the street and put them behind that offensive line or in that offensive scheme, and they'll do good. But James Cook endeared himself to the fan base, and was certainly, probably other than Josh Allen, the most effective offensive player on the roster for one of the most effective high-scoring offenses in the league. So it would be tough not to pay him that way. Although, if you were to have a draft and pick running backs, where would James Cook fall? Maybe around 10th?
Well, I've done a couple drafts already, and I think it's a little bit of a depending upon who goes where first.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about fantasy though.
Okay.
I'm saying we're redrafting the entire NFL and we're doing it position by position. Where would Cook, get picked? And I would think it would be somewhere around maybe 8 to 10.
Yeah, I think the usage with him would be the problem for a lot of people.
Right.
Just don't know how much he's going to be on the field. And it's probably unlikely that he repeats that 16 touchdown season. I still expect him to, find the end zone a lot, but I don't know if he gets back to 16 again. Because remember, it was 14 rushing and 2 receiving, I think.
Yeah, and then Josh Allen has a lot of rushing touchdowns too.
Yeah, so it takes it away from him, and then they use those other running backs that get touchdowns. I mean, you look, Ty Johnson had 4 touchdowns and 600 yards. Ray Davis 777 yards, 6 touchdowns.
It's wild how
So they're getting production from
everywhere.
every running back. So yeah, I think that takes away from some of his production.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I view him probably about 5th-ish, if I'm being totally honest.
5th?
Yeah.
Or who would be?
I mean,
Barkley,
Barkley,
McCaffrey.
Henry.
McCaffrey, maybe not.
I'm not high on
injuries.
McCaffrey anymore at this point.
Well, we'll see what happens. And McCaffrey, yes, is obviously overall career-wise better than James Cook. But coming off the injury, if the draft was like tomorrow, I don't know if people would take Cook ahead of McCaffrey. But
Henry.
Derrick Henry.
Taylor.
How about the rookie Genty? For Oakland, even like someone like Josh Jacobs, Green Bay could probably make an argument. Yeah, Kyron Williams, Bucky Irving down in Tampa. I mean,
maybe Elvin Kamara.
There's just a lot of them. So they're like, and they're here today, gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like look at going way back, Terrell Davis for the Broncos. Here one day, gone the next, and so you always worry about that with running backs. And so, especially now that the Bills are backloading the money, what's James Cook going to look like in 3 or 4 years?
And all these guys we mentioned, too, again, they get heavy workloads. Barkley, look at 25 rushes. He's very involved in the pass game, like 5-6 catches a game. I mean, they just feed these guys, where the Bills just spread it out more and have more. Like, they're willing to give it to their second and third running backs. They're willing to let Allen run it. So, I don't know.
It takes a little pressure off of Cook, but yeah, I think it's a relief overall, right? Okay, it's squared away, whatever. Nobody's going to be thinking in November or December about how much James Cook's getting paid. They're just going to want to give him the ball and hopefully, have that Bills offense put up points. So,
Yeah. I think maybe, too, we've seen the way these deals kind of play out potentially. I mean, not even maybe November, right? You don't have to worry about now in October when the trade deadline comes if the hold-in turns into a holdout. And,
right.
Now that type of stuff obviously is completely out the window with him doing the extension. But you never know how these things can really turn out with the way agents can be, the teams can be, and the player can be.
Yeah.
So.
And
John Robinson, another one, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just the point is like, okay, if I'm running an NFL franchise, I'm not losing sleep over running backs because I'm feeling like, you can get them in the draft, you can get them free agency, you can find them on your practice squad. Jamar Gibbs, is another one. I mean, there's just a lot. So, anyways, I'll get off of that.
You're good. You're good. Shout out Sean Alexander back in the day for me. So
Yeah, there you go.
anyway, I think that probably really about does it on that front. Transition over here a little bit to preseason game. Even though last week we talked about how you should gauge and everything like that. 38-0 though last night.
I watched it all start to finish for some reason. I mean, I was doing other stuff while I was watching it, but
the choice was made.
it was just the worst. And I would love to see the NFL get rid of preseason altogether, to be honest with you. But
yeah, I mean, I hate how almost makes me sound like I'm advocating for preseason games. I don't like how they're being sacrificed if it means one more regular season game. But that's a different discussion. But yeah, I've never understood the need for 4 back when we were in a 16-game schedule.
My goodness.
I don't understand the need for 3 at this point. I understand definitely probably 1 for sure. Just so you know what you're getting that sort of deal back in and reps and everything. But man, you look at it last night, 38-0 on the score, 528 to 180 yards of offense.
Yeah, it started out the Bears played their starters and the Bills didn't, and made Caleb Williams and all the tight ends for Chicago look like they were going to win the Super Bowl going away. And then the backups for Chicago were still doing it, and Sean McDermott was upset because the Bills, defensively, it was pathetic.
Yeah.
Offensively, it was pathetic. Yeah. It was pathetic.
Yeah. Sean McDermott kind of lays in post game here a little bit. Read a couple of the quotes here. Certainly not up to our standard, what we expect. Got a lot of work to do, that's very clear. Doesn't matter who's out there, 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s. Whoever it is, we expect them to perform, and we expect our level of performance to be much better than that. I don't mean this as a slight to anybody here. Obviously, these guys are much better than I am, than we are, or else we wouldn't be sitting here. But Sean, buddy, if you play Mike White against Caleb Williams, I don't know what we were expecting here in these situations, to be totally honest. I understand the sentiment. I really do. I just don't think being upset the way that he's upset is maybe justified in a way here, given the players involved, given the situation involved. I don't know if I see it.
Well, we can end the discussion right here by this stat. Last year, they lost to the Bears in preseason 33-6.
Yeah,
similar.
And he probably said the same thing.
Right.
And where did the Bills go?
Right.
And how do they do?
How did the Bears?
I mean, preseason. You see teams sometimes go 3-4-0.
Yeah.
0-4, 0-3. I'm saying that because the games have changed in preseason. And I don't know. It's just so irrelevant. Like, I don't think it's a talking point at all.
No, it isn't, unless you want to just say, okay, couple bright spots maybe for the Bills last night. Frank Gore Jr. Looked pretty good, going back to my previous point about running backs. And Wilkerson, the wide receiver, he looked good. But other than that, waste of time.
Yeah, the only 2 projected starters, according to ESPN, that saw significant quote-unquote time were Cole Bishop and Josh Palmer last night for the Bills. Kyle, though, you brought up a good point off air, too, mentioning maybe a couple guys vying for roster spots. Elijah Moore last night didn't do himself any favors.
2 big drops, really bad. One on a screen pass that was right to him. That might affect his roster spot. But again, you don't know what you're going to get from Curtis Samuel. He's still not healthy. So if he's not healthy, then Elijah Moore's going to make it. But
There's no way they're going to drop Moore, right?
I don't think so. But all these writers are saying that he could be on the bubble now.
Just because of 2 drops in a preseason game, I mean, he's got some history of production in the NFL behind him. Like, I just don't see that. Josh Palmer had 1 catch for 2 yards. They're always talking about cutting him.
Well, yeah, they're saying that it's because he was getting open and Mike White wasn't.
Yeah, which probably could be true.
Tyrell Shavers, I think, had at least 1 catch, maybe 2. I still think I'm going to put him on the roster. I think he makes the 53-man roster. So I think the final receiver spot is going to come down to,
Shavers had 2 catches for 29 yards.
yeah, so I think it's going to come down to Samuel or Moore. I thought all along that Moore was a lock, but apparently, according to a lot of these people, he's not a lock. So
They do have a lot of people in that receivers room. Wouldn't it be something if they kept, if Chris Samuels is on the roster or not?
yeah, and they kept like Laviska Shenault.
Yeah. Well, I mean, these are all like legitimate NFL receivers.
And was he returning kicks or punts last night? No, I think it was punts. Laviska Shenault. So I think they want him maybe for that too.
Sure.
So he would make him more valuable than those other guys. So yeah, but again, we talked about it off air. They must have new rules. They don't have to cut anyone until after the final preseason game. It used to be they had to cut a few before.
If you want, yeah.
Yeah, so they must have changed that. So we won't know for at least 9 days until what the rosters look like.
Yeah, Shavers had 2 receptions for 29 yards. Yeah, Jim, you mentioned Frank Gore Jr. He also led the way receiving-wise for the Bills technically last
Leading
night.
rusher and receiver.
Yep, 4 receptions for 30 yards on the air and 8 on the ground for 51 yards there. So, hey, I guess he is a little bit like the old man in a little bit of ways there. So
He's got to
yeah,
continue it for like 30 years.
like
Frank Gore was
Yeah.
like the ultimate long career running back guy.
yeah, which is crazy.
We talk about these stupid preseason games, and all you had to do is look at the TV last night to see one reason why they do it. The stadium was packed in Chicago, so somebody, they're making a lot of money.
I mean, you mentioned that, but think about what you're watching it on. Fox had their B crew there for that game
On Sunday night.
Yeah, so it's one of those things. I know they, broadly speaking, too. I mean, I know they're doing. ESPN is doing like a Monday night game, but it's on like a Tuesday for a preseason game for this final one coming up, and they're hyping up as like football night in the summer. Like it's one of those things where it's just the machine,
boring night in the summer.
But the machine just does not stop.
Yep, and we got to see some new like officiating. Get accompanied to the new rules. Get accompanied to the what do they call the new first down marker, the virtual first down. So they're not bringing out the chains. They just expedited reviews. Mm-hmm. There was a bunch of different, and it did not run really well. But I guess they're working out the kinks too, and so is Fox and other television networks.
I'll say you guys watched the game. I'll leave it to you because I did see a little bit of it in passing at one point last night. The score bug for Fox this year.
That was the talk. Yeah. I mean, it was better than the Super Bowl one they had. They actually put the logos on it. I mean, come on, you got to put the logos on it. Yeah. You don't just put the initials on the score bug on a big game like that.
Yeah. It gives me a little bit of old school vibes back in the day. If you really want to go back into the YouTube machine and see some, no matter what the sport is, where it's just literally the overlay is just text and telling you what's going on. So, I did find that pretty interesting, but we'll see. Luckily, there's not a ton of Bills games on Fox this year, so people won't have to worry about that in that sense.
I think 1. Oh, no, 2.
Yeah.
Oh, no, 3. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Just since we're talking about it. Sunday, October 26th at Carolina on Fox. Sunday, December 7th against Cincinnati at home on Fox. And then the final game, our second to last game of the regular season against Philadelphia, week 17 on Fox. At home in Buffalo. Sunday, December 28th.
Think we'll see a color change on the text potentially that time of year for catching my drift. So, the final preseason game for the Bills here, we got at Tampa Bay on Saturday. Sorry, math is hard. 7:30. I would imagine we'll see a little bit of the starters at least in that one, since we haven't really seen them at all in the first 2. I mean,
if I was running an NFL franchise, especially in the situation the Bills are in, where they're bringing back, a lot of their core, I wouldn't play them at all. Why? It's like you think they need to like go out there and run a couple series so they're ready to go week 1. I mean, I would not risk even like a nick or a scrape or a bump on Josh Allen or James Cook for that matter.
Yeah, Sean McDermott said they didn't play in last night's game because he liked what he saw in their joint practice against the Bears on Thursday. I guess the starters, had big days, and since they're playing NFL competition, they're number ones too. I guess
Yeah.
there's a chance we might not see them then, based on that comment.
I wouldn't play them. I like the idea that they dress and come out and go through the pregame warm up. Again, that's a lot enough to kind of get you in the mode. But why do you want to risk any type of setback heading into the first week? Because there's nothing to gain. You really think Josh Allen needs to work out the rust before their week 1 game at Baltimore?
I mean, I do think there's a little bit of element of timing, maybe, but I don't disagree overall. I think I view it from a side of I would just rather not. I'd rather not have something stupid happen week 1 where it could have happened week 3 of the preseason. I guess I don't know.
I don't see it. I mean, especially with maybe if you got a rookie quarterback, but
Or Joe Burrow. Remember how bad of a start he got off to last year?
Yeah,
And that's why they played him in week 1 of the preseason this year. That's exactly what their head coach said. I mean, he got off to a bad start. We got to get him in games early on.
I guess every situation's different.
Yeah.
And Mahomes plays too every preseason, week 1. Andy Reid says he believes in his starters playing. So it all depends on your coach, really.
Yeah, well, the only time Mahomes ever got hurt was when Rashee Rice hurt him. Remember that?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, him and Allen are literally on the field all the time.
Yeah.
They don't miss games.
yeah, and you got 18 games or 17 games this
17.
year.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't need to be out there in a stupid preseason game that means nothing. And even if they do need to shake off a little rust, it won't take long, in the first quarter of the first game.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I don't think I'm with you in principle. I just view it, I guess.
Has Jaden Daniels played?
I don't know. They play tonight, so we'll find out.
Oh, I can't wait. What time? What channel?
Yeah, it's
Played
ESPN, right?
Jacksonville tonight. Yeah.
They should do NFL Red Zone preseason.
No, let's not. No.
I'll definitely
don't.
have it on for sure. Just not paying attention about
Yeah,
it.
there's nothing else to watch. I mean, especially like I would watch baseball, but as a YouTube TV subscriber, I don't get the Mets or the Yankees.
Yeah, the Yankees and Mets are off tonight.
Oh, so even that, yeah. What else is there? Washington Redskins or
Maybe you wanna turn on the-
Commanders?
You turn on the San Diego Padres at 9:30.
Yep. A little West Coast baseball.
I don't have a problem with
Giants
that.
are playing too.
I will say this on the mention of baseball and quasi local. Gabe Sinicropi last night in the Little League Classic in Williamsport handled the player introductions on ESPN, so that was pretty cool.
Oh, no kidding. I would have loved to heard that.
So
I didn't know
shout
that.
out Little Local there. Yeah.
So you were just happened to be watching it?
Yeah, I had it on at the start there, and I know he still is working with the Crosscutters because they're in the draft league still, but I did not anticipate him being the one doing the player introductions, so that was pretty cool.
So how did you know it was him?
They announced it. They literally said,
Oh.
we're going down to Crosscutters PA announcer Gabe Senicropi. I'm like,
Oh.
I didn't know he was still doing PA stuff too, but I was like, okay, that's awesome. So, but yeah. All right, enough of the baseball portion of this. I got really nothing else this week, guys. I don't know if I really missed anything else at this point or
We're in the
what,
preseason
so,
too.
yeah,
We're working out the kinks
Yeah.
before the regular season starts. Well, we get into the regular part of the season. We do obviously the recap the game before and the preview the game ahead. This is just uncharted territory here in the preseason.
Yeah.
And soon we could probably make predictions. Maybe in a week or two.
I was gonna say,
the Bills going to win their third preseason game.
Yeah.
AFC's predictions, maybe.
You can get tickets as low as $31 for the game on Saturday night in Tampa Bay at Raymond James.
Wow.
For those interested.
How about where plane tickets? Can we get down there?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
It shouldn't even be $31 because definitely if the starters don't play, come on.
There was a big gripe a few years ago, and this wasn't the Bills. It was actually Cleveland. I remember it, where they were charging season ticket holders. They had to buy preseason at full value, and I'm like, that is the most. What are we doing?
It does go to show you the power of the NFL. Is without a doubt the greatest professional sports league in America. I'm not going to try to do the European football versus American football conversation, but
I mean, well, no,
NFL is a beast.
the perfect example of that is the fact that not America, not the U.S.'s ambassador, but the U.K.'s ambassador to the U.S. is pushing hard for somewhere in the UK to host a Super Bowl within the next decade.
Yeah,
Like,
good
I mean,
luck with that.
Well, no, I agree with you. I'm just saying that
Well,
it shows the machine that is the NFL. You know,
Oh,
it's
yeah, we're
crazy.
gonna have all those games this year too, and
All over.
London and
Yeah.
what's the other one? Germany.
Germany, no, we have the Brazil game
Oh,
again.
Brazil.
The London, is it Berlin or Munich, and then they're doing one in Madrid too, I think.
Yeah, there's a bunch, and they're probably gonna keep adding on.
And
It's
it's just so
ridiculous.
annoying. You know, remember when they had the NFL Europe?
Yeah.
That was fine. Let them have their own league. Obviously, it didn't work out. Now we're still trying to push it over there. But, you know, if you want to hit, I don't know. If you're like, because if you do incorporate those teams as part of the NFL now, guys are getting drafted out of college and they have to go play for the team in Germany, and they're like, what the heck, you know?
Yeah, I was about to say what Kurt Warner, I think, is the big playing wise, anyways, the big alumni of the NFL Europe because he was playing for whichever team it was. I don't know, but I can't imagine it's fun. And I don't know. I'm intrigued. I think the NFL, I don't know, as much as they say they want a team over there, I think they're letting the NBA be the test dummies of rerunning it back over there. So we'll see.
I think it's a little easier to work for that type of thing to work for basketball maybe, but you know, it's got to be where okay, they're a part of the actual league, you know, they can, but then you create all sorts of logistical issues. But you know, football, as much as any sport, you know, baseball and football, those are American sports, you know. Why can't we just keep it in the continental U.S. for NFL, you know, NFL Sundays, and then, you know, with the time zones and stuff, it's just, I don't know, Sundays in America in the fall are made for football, not 9 a.m., you know, telecast where it's dark out in Germany and you're watching it at 9 a.m.
Yeah. And they're always the worst matchups. A lot of times.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't watch most of them. You know, I don't usually make a point to get up and watch them. You know, so a lot of times I forget about them.
Yeah. I think, at least in terms of the podcast here, we avoid disaster this year with Buffalo. So,
but you want to do predictions on the AFC East? I'll give you my prediction. Bills are going to win.
Way to go out on the limb.
The AFC East this year. And the second place team in the AFC East is going to be the Patriots.
Wow, you agree with me. I've said all offseason the Patriots are better, and they're going to be probably the second best.
Well, I have a hot take then about the second place team that I think it's going to be in the East.
Miami?
No.
Jets?
Yeah.
How come?
You're high on him?
I just call it a hunch.
Justin Fields?
Just Fields, Glenn, I kind of like what they got going on. We'll see. I mean, they had Look, I think part of it is they had some pieces last year, and you could kind of see maybe something getting going. And I don't know. I can't believe I'm sounding pro-Jet in any way, shape, or form right now with this. But I worry. The Miami thing for me, I don't know what the hell is happening down there, whether it's health or off the field stuff. And then the Patriots, I think you're going to see improvement from them, but I just don't know. I don't know if we're going to see the leap this year just yet out of them. So, I don't know. I think
it's not a high bar to finish second in the AFC East.
Yeah.
You need to beat the Jets and the Dolphins or the Patriots. So I don't even know if any of those three teams will see a wild card spot or anything in the playoffs.
No, that's my thing with this, and like we're saying, maybe this is more for the podcast, whether it's next week or the week after, given the fact that it's essentially a 10-day long break from the last preseason game to week one. If you look at it from the perspective of nothing happening and everything like that, and everything stays the way it's supposed to, I just think the Bills pretty much handled the East, and that's about that. I have a hard time believing
Bills are more like trying to secure home field throughout the AFC playoffs. But the problem with the Dolphins is that they go into the season with Tua as their quarterback. He hasn't finished the season in how many years, and he's not going to finish this one either.
Well,
Let's face it. So when are they going to be willing to move on?
Well, it's not so much finishing; it's playing all 17.
Yeah,
it's that. for them too, I worry about the off the field stuff happening with that team. It's just one of those things where, on paper they should be number 2 easily, and you just can't trust them.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. We got
you know.
Devon Achane, you got Tyreek Hill,
Yeah.
Jaden Waddle, yada yada yada. But I don't. I just feel like they're being held hostage by having Tua, who you won't be able to count on. And even when Tua's healthy, it's not like he's like that much better than the average NFL quarterback, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people would say that.
So go ahead and move on and get some. Who would you rather have as your quarterback this year, going into this year, Drake May or Tua?
Well, I'd probably go Tua still at this point, but
see, I wouldn't, because Tua, like I said, if you took a poll of every Miami Dolphin fan, I bet you every single one of them would say that there's 0% chance that Tua plays every game.
Yeah, every fan I know, they're sick of him.
Yeah, and so it just it makes it hard to get any momentum or excitement going. But whereas Drake May, it's all upside at this point.
I think for me, and we have to remember I view it from a different tinted glasses, given my team's struggles the past all my lifetime with it, is I would just rather take a known commodity and
then you wouldn't have Jalen Waddle. You would have had Sam, what's his name?
Sam Howell.
Yeah, Sam Howell would have been your starting quarterback. You wouldn't have had
Where?
Jaden Daniels. Would have never happened. And so the Dolphins are preventing them from finding their Jaden Daniels.
Well, right, but I don't think Tua is exactly on that Sam Howell level of
better than Sam Howell, but how good are you when you're getting concussions every year and not even on the field?
That's fair, but
it's almost like worse than if he was just playing average. To get these concussions and just leave your team hanging in the middle of the season, it's a difficult, tough situation if you're a Dolphins fan, and it was just literally the past maybe 2 years ago where the anticipation for Dolphins fans was probably at an all-time high, and here we are 2 years later, right back where they always are, just whatever. They know they're not going to win.
And no matter what, they go 0-2 against the Bills. It doesn't matter what team they have, who they have starting. and the problem is too, they aren't close games usually. They're lopsided.
Right. So Bills pick up 2 games there, and then of course the Bills will probably split with the Jets.
And they usually take both from the Patriots recently.
Yeah.
Although they played them very tough in Buffalo, if you remember, with Drake May.
Yeah, and last year it was a non-game. The last.
The final game, but the one in Buffalo. Remember, they were up big at halftime. The Bills came back.
Right.
Yeah.
Drake May now has Diggs and Mac Hollins.
Oh wow, that's crazy! I forgot about Hollins.
I think the Patriots are going to be good.
Hollins has been dinged up though, hasn't he?
Yeah, but even so, he'll be ready to go.
Yeah, I can see future bets. Looking at the future bet going over wins on New England. I bet you it's got to be around 6 or 7 wins, maybe.
Hey, and they got Hunter Henry still and Austin Hooper as their tight ends.
Wow, tight ends I'd be excited about in 2019.
Serviceable defense.
Hey, they're good blockers.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Yep.
Well,
And a very good head coach.
Stevenson.
Yeah, better head coach.
That's not Stevenson's job anymore. It's probably Henderson's.
Yeah.
So,
but Stevenson's still going to be there to step in and do boring things.
do boring things. I like that. All right. I think that about does it, though, for this week. We're out here spitballing at this point. So we'll be back at, though, next Monday, same time, 10 a.m., wrapping up preseason, and hopefully something cool happens that we'll be able to talk about. You never know.
I think we should do some sort of overview of predictions of maybe each division.
Yeah.
Step away from the Bills for just one last week before we really. It's going to be all Buffalo. Once the season starts, like you said, preview the game ahead, or recap the game that was, preview the game ahead, talk about any big news, and hopefully do it right through the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What Super Bowl is it? 50?
60.
Is it 60?
Isn't it?
Oh, boy.
Or am I crazy?
Super Bowl 60 in Tokyo, Japan.
I don't think it's 60. It's got to be 59, maybe. I could be wrong, but...
Yeah, before we go, we got to figure this out.
Yeah. We have the technology.
What do you got?
Wait, why can't I find it?
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Maybe that could be our teaser for next episode.
It showed me the last
Tune in
Super
to
Bowl, and I
find out
didn't
what
ask
Super
for it.
Bowl it is. Well, if you know the last one, then you know this one.
Oh my God, it is 60.
60.
Yep.
Yeah, so they played the 59th back in February. Yeah, so it's 60.
Man, I
Wow.
am uncomfortable with that because I distinctly remember being at my apartment in college for Super Bowl 50 and winning a lot of entertainment purposes only.
I remember being in my grandmother's house for Super Bowl like 8.
Oh no.
Rams versus maybe it wasn't 8, maybe it was like 12, but it's Rams Steelers
Oh boy.
like 1980.
Oh no.
That's one of the first ones I remember. So, yeah, 60.
It's crazy.
Super Bowl 60 at Levi's Stadium.
It's crazy. Wasn't 50 at Levi too?
Yes, that shows it right here. Yep.
Oh God.
Super Bowl 60 is the New York Giants take on the Buffalo Bills in an all New York Super Bowl.
You have a pipe dream on that one, don't you? Man, I hope that's not the case, at least for the one team involved, but hey.
Redskins Bills.
That'd be nice. Throw it back to...
Change your name back, please.
No.
I keep saying Redskins. That's because of how old I am.
If we go back, I want it to be football team.
So boring. Commanders.
Yeah, Commanders is dumb. They could have been the Generals. You know, that would have been better.
What about the Hogs?
The Washington Razorbacks.
No. Too much Arkansas.
Yeah. Washington Hogs. Nah, that doesn't have a ring.
No, not for the O-line. All right.
Yeah, but that's some nostalgia for you. I don't know if you want to name the team that,
The
though.
Washington Smurfs.
Yeah.
Kyle definitely has no idea now on that.
Oh, but I'm just laughing because of how weird it sounds.
Well, it's all right. The 80s were a different time. That's for sure.
Commanders.
Yeah, so. All right, we'll get out of here. Appreciate everybody for listening and tuning in. We'll be back at it again next Monday morning. We'll talk with everybody then. You can find Bills Weekly on fingerleaks1.com, fingerleaks1.com, YouTube channel, and all major podcasting platforms. Let's go, Buffalo.